if I told you that before time was born, before light first trembled, before the word beginning existed, something was already watching you? What if the very question you carry, where did God come from, is the one question ancient scrolls warned humanity never to ask? And yet, here you are, here we are, pulling open a door that was sealed before Eden ever breathed. But few know, few dare to whisper, that the origin of God is not a story of creation at all. It is a story of uncreation, a story of a presence that existed before existence had meaning, a story hidden in forbidden texts, lost gospels, Gnostic fragments, and apocalyptic visions carved into temples the world has forgotten. And today, you will hear what your soul has been avoiding for lifetimes. If your heart is steady, if your spirit is open, if your curiosity outweighs your fear, then listen. You were meant to hear this. And before we begin, if this is your first time stepping into mysteries others run from, make sure you subscribe. This journey is not entertainment, it is initiation, and you don't want to miss what comes next. The question that breaks the world. Where did God come from? A simple question, a dangerous one, a question older than prayer itself. The early mystics called it the forbidden inquiry, the question that shakes the foundation of heaven and earth. Not because the answer is evil, but because the answer cannot be contained. If you search for it lightly, it will mock you. If you search for it arrogantly, it will crush you. But if you search for it humbly, you might discover a truth that transforms how you see everything. Life, money, purpose, destiny. Because to ask where God comes from is to tear open the veil of time itself. The silence before the word. Picture this. Before galaxies, before angels, before atoms, there was silence, not the silence you know, not the absence of sound, but the absence of everything. No space, no darkness, no light, no before for anything to begin. Mystics describe this as the hidden flame, the source of all things, the breath before breath. Not a place, not a moment, a state of pure being, a reality that simply is. Some called it Ein Sof, the infinite without end. Some called it Ein, the no thing that births all things. Others whispered of the unmoved light, the root silence, the first thought, the eternal awareness, before God was revealed, before God was known, before God was named. There was being without form, essence without shape, presence without identity. And from that, the one we call God emerged not as a creation, but as a revelation. A curtain pulled back, a light unveiled, a flame that decided to be seen. Imagine awareness itself suddenly turning inward. Imagine infinity awakening to the fact that it is infinite. Imagine the vast, endless, eternal silence suddenly saying, "Let me be known," not because it was born, but because it chose expression. This is the moment mystics call the first light, the moment the unnameable revealed a fragment of itself, and that fragment became God's source, creator, eternal one. Not created, not summoned, not beginning, but revealed. A wave rising from an infinite ocean, not separate from the ocean, yet distinct enough to interact with what would soon be creation. You were never meant to hear this, but you are here. And that means the ancient doors are opening. Before we go deeper, breathe, because the next revelation will shake you. If God emerged from the infinite, then the infinite existed before the concept of God as we know it. Which means the question, where did God come from, is the wrong question. The real question is, What is the infinite? And why did it choose to reveal itself as God? We're about to step inside that answer. If you're still with me, like this video. It helps the message reach other souls who are seeking the same truth you are, and trust me, we've barely opened the first seal. The ancient map of divine manifestation hidden in the oldest scrolls. Scrolls older than Moses, older than Egypt, older than the Sumerian kings, is a strange diagram, not a picture, not a symbol. A story encoded in geometry, a tree, a ladder, a path that descends from the infinite down into manifested reality. Some call it the tree of emanations. Some call it the river of light. Some call it the descent of the divine name. But the meaning is the same. God did not begin. God unfolded, like light passing through stained glass. The infinite essence expressed itself in levels, layers, emanations. At the highest level, pure, unfiltered, unimaginable light. At the lowest level, you, breathing this moment, listening to these words. Everything in between, angels, realms, laws, energies, creation, is part of the unfolding. This means God is not a being within creation. God is the bridge between the infinite and the universe. Which means the story of God's origin is the story of the infinite choosing to make itself comprehensible, understandable, approachable, relatable. For one purpose, relationship. The unthinkable, a possibility. What if the infinite revealed itself as God, so creation could know companionship? Legacy? No. Love? Yes, but deeper. Worship? Not primarily. Obedience? Not essentially. Relationship? Connection, the shared experience of existence. Because the infinite, though complete, desired expression. And expression requires an observer. You. This is why your existence is no accident. Your purpose is not random. Your destiny is not empty. You are part of the infinite's self-revelation. This is why the world around you is full of symbols. The sunrise, the breath in your chest, the repeating patterns of nature, the synchronicities you call coincidence, the visions you dream at night. All of them are messages from the one who chose to become knowable. But if God is the revealed face of the infinite, what lies behind that face? What is the essence before the revelation, and why, after eternity of being hidden, did the infinite suddenly decide to reveal itself? Ancient texts say there was a reason, a cosmic shift, a moment of unimaginable magnitude, one that involved angels, chaos, and a silence that trembled like thunder. If you're ready for that part of the story, subscribe now. This channel keeps uncovering truths that mainstream history avoids, and you'll want to follow the entire journey. Because the next revelation is the one even mystics feared to write down. The first movement. A thought becomes a presence. In the beginning, not the beginning of the universe, but the beginning of manifestation, there was a thought, not like your thoughts, not sound, not ideas, more like a recognition, a knowing of self. A knowing so powerful, it became a presence. This presence is what scriptures call the Logos, the Word, the Son, the first emanation, the radiant expression of the infinite light. The Word was not created. It was realized, acknowledged, awakened, an infinite mind awakening to its own awareness. And with that awakening came the first vibration, the first sound, the first pulse, the first whisper that echoed across the silent eternity like a soft explosion of golden fire. This was not the birth of God. This was the moment God became expressible. And from that vibration, the universe would eventually take shape. But not yet. Before the universe came the realms, Before the realms came the angelic orders. Before the angels came the flames, the living energies that swirled like cosmic storms around the first light. Angels were not created to worship. They were created to witness, to guard the process of manifestation, to hold in place the delicate structure through which the infinite became the divine. And yet, some resisted the revelation. This is the part the world never hears. The first rebellion did not happen in heaven after creation. The first rebellion happened before creation, before stars, before humans, before Eden. Some of the earliest emanations, beings of pure awareness, did not accept that the infinite should reveal itself as a personal God. They believed the infinite should remain hidden, unknowable, untouched. This cosmic disagreement created turbulence in the realms, tremors of shadow within the light, the earliest seeds of what we call chaos. And this chaos is what pushed the infinite to fully unveil the being we call God, a stabilizing presence, a unifying thought, a divine center through which creation could unfold. You were not meant to hear this, but now you cannot unhear it. What comes next will challenge everything you know about prayer, destiny, and prosperity. Because once you understand the true origin of God, you will understand something even more shocking. Why you were born with the ability to shape reality. Why you can speak things into existence. Why what you believe becomes your world. This is not magic. It is not superstition. It is the reflection of the infinite within you. If you're ready, say, continue, and we will open the next scroll.